Lane 4, Jamaica expected to put out a fabulous time here. Nelson, White, Birchall, McGregor, their squad. Scotland, they will be quick as well. Singapore and India, and the Indian squad with their tails up. Who knows what they can do? On paper, they may qualify, but frankly, with the advantage of some fabulous results bolstering their spirits this morning by other members of their team, we may see India outperform themselves here. So, the Jamaicans, lead-off athlete, that's Nelson, just adjusting her blocks. England took gold 4 years ago on the Gold Coast ahead of Jamaica, and Nigeria in third.
Well, they're still going through their preparations, so let's return our attention to this hammer competition. Meanwhile, the women getting ready for the first of the two semi-finals, top three in each going through to the big showdown.
Well, Jamaica were champions in Scotland in 2014 in those wonderfully organised games in Glasgow, but beaten by England. Bit of an upset that 4 years ago. They'll want to get back on the top of the rostrum, but first they must get that baton round these four athletes. Baton speed is critical. The changeovers need to be smooth, and you can quite often in relays get a squad of moderate talents defeating a squad of super talents if the changeovers are strong. If you can maintain baton speed through keeping it really smooth changeovers, then you can quite often get some rather strange results. Here's the lead-off athlete for the India, Chand. She'll hand over to Das, then Nanda and Iraji. On the outside, they can focus on their own job. The Indian record, 43.37. Singapore go in lane 6. Pereira will hand over to Zaini, then Chandran and Liu.
In lane 5,
Scotland, always good carriers of the baton at the Commonwealth Games. Matheson, Rees, Malone and Spence, their quartet.
In 4,
The Jamaicans, well, they start as favourites here, surely, with Nelson, White, Birchall and McGregor making up their foursome. Their national record, 41.02.
In 3, Azapadi, Richard, Sufuna and Wingfield.
Here is the Maltese quartet, and the lead-off runner, Azapadi. She'll hand over to Richard, Skikluna and Wingfield. And then the Maldives on the inside with Hussein, Mohammed, Hassan and Mohammed again making up their foursome.
The first 3 automatically make the final, plus the next 2 fastest across the 2 heats.
Well, the second fastest time ever is by Jamaica. That was last year at the Olympic Games, 41.02. Only the USA have ever gone under 41 seconds. Anything down in the low 42s is very, very crisp. And in fact, only Jamaica have been down there. The Scottish record, for example, 44.35 is the Scottish best this season, 44.35. The first of 2 heats in the women's 4x100 metres. Then the first 3 teams go through by right to tomorrow's final. Maldives in 2, Malta 3, Jamaica going 4 in the yellow, Scotland in 5, Singapore 6, India 7. Away they go, and already Jamaica making up ground on Scotland. Centre of picked at Jamaica, almost up alongside Matheson of Scotland. It's been a brilliant leg from Nelson. A safe changeover, not a fast changeover from the Jamaicans. The Scots pretty much matched them, but down the back straight, the second leg runner from Jamaica moving really well at the moment. That is White, she hands over. That was a good changeover from the Jamaicans. Scotland in second, going really well. On the outside, India going pretty well too. It's Jamaica from India at the moment. India having a really good run here. Their backs are up as Jamaica taking over on the final leg. Down the home straight, looking really strong. It's McGregor now, storming away with this. That's an 8 or 9 metre winning margin. India comfortably second, Scotland in third, and a really close battle for the 4th places there, but 43.66 by Jamaica there. Well, it was a safe squad that got it round well enough. Let's hope there are no red flags and that all the changeovers were good for every team. But that was a huge winning margin and an equally huge gap behind India, Rob.
Yes, Scotland getting the best of that battle for the third spot. Wingfield was finishing very quickly for Malta on the anchor leg. The Indians had a very sluggish changeover from third to anchor, but how well did they go down the back straight? They've taken second. Scotland have gone through by a couple of tenths of a second. Singapore and Malta very, very close behind, but we will see the Scottish quartet in the final. The Jamaicans are so good. They've got such a great reputation. The Olympic champions, the silver medalists in Eugene, gold in Glasgow, and they've got Elaine Thompson-Herah, who they can draft into the final. Not a bad name to add to the list, a four-time individual Olympic champion.
Yeah, Thompson-Herah has looked superb all week, hasn't she? Getting fitter all the time. That was a safe changeover from the Indians on the outside. I expected a little more from Scotland. I thought they'd be closer to India, that's for sure. But look at this changeover from Scotland. Oh, awful changeover, final changeover there from Scotland. Looked to me like the outgoing runner went off a little bit early for them. That was Spence. Indeed, they're only just ahead of Singapore, and you'd expect from a world rule squad like the Scots a bigger margin. But they are through safely. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, so
Jamaica,
good,
India
Jamaicans.
and Scotland.
So good, the Jamaicans. You could see Spence coming under a little bit of pressure there for that third spot with the fast finish of Wingfield from Malta. Watch this last changeover for the Indians, just on the left of picture. Took them a while. Can't quite see her, and also, as you said, it was a little bit sluggish from the Scots, but poetry in motion, the Jamaican quartet, and they will be smarting after finishing second to the United States in Eugene. But despite the fact that we've got great teams going in the second of the heats, England as the defending champions, the Jamaicans would surely line up as the joint favourites at least.
And England, well, they've swapped victories at the Commonwealth Games with Jamaica. The last four editions have gone Jamaica, England, Jamaica, England. Jamaicans, of course, as Rob rightly pointed out, can break through by right.
The women's 4x100m relay heat at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham was a thrilling showcase of speed, strategy, and national pride. Held at the Alexander Stadium, the first of two semi-final heats brought together teams from Jamaica, India, Scotland, Singapore, Malta, and the Maldives, each eager to make a mark on the international stage. Jamaica, widely considered favorites due to their legacy in sprinting and a roster that included Nelson, White, Birchall, and McGregor, lined up in lane 4. Their reputation as Olympic champions and world championship medalists loomed large over the field. Yet for teams like India and Scotland, this was a golden opportunity, not only to qualify, but to test themselves against sprinting royalty. As the gun fired, the atmosphere inside the stadium was electric. Jamaica's opening leg runner, Nelson, exploded out of the blocks, immediately carving out a lead over Scotland. While the first baton exchange for Jamaica wasn't exceptionally fast, it was clean and controlled, an essential ingredient in successful relay running. By contrast, Scotland matched them well early on, and India too stayed firmly in contention with a strong start and efficient handoff. Down the back straight, Jamaica's second leg runner extended the lead, displaying the team's composure and technical finesse. India, meanwhile, executed a crisp exchange that kept them in a comfortable second place, while Scotland's slightly slower changeover left room for Singapore to close the gap. Malta and Maldives trailed, but continued to push hard. In the curve, Jamaica's third runner maintained dominance, accelerating just enough to stretch their advantage without going full throttle. India held their ground firmly, running with rhythm and determination. Scotland began to edge ahead of Singapore again, cheered on by a passionate home crowd, hoping for a personal best. The final changeover, a critical moment in any relay, was again seamless for Jamaica. McGregor, the anchor, blasted down the home straight with confidence and authority, sealing the win in a time of 43.66 seconds. Their performance was efficient rather than explosive, clearly conserving energy for the final round. India followed strongly, finishing second in 44.45 seconds, showing their growing consistency on the global sprinting stage. Scotland, pushed by home support, delivered a powerful anchor leg to claim third in 45.39 seconds, a new national personal best. Just behind, Singapore clocked 45.58 seconds, a season best, narrowly missing third place by less than 0.2 of a second. Malta, too, ran impressively, finishing fifth with 45.59 seconds, one of their best performances on an international stage. Maldives completed the race in 45.91 seconds, gaining valuable experience despite finishing last. This heat was a clear demonstration of Jamaica's superior baton handling, sprint depth, and race intelligence. Even without their star runners at full throttle, such as Elaine Thompson-Herah, who could be drafted in for the final, they controlled the race from start to finish. India's solid execution and Scotland's record-breaking effort proved that while Jamaica remains dominant, the gap is narrowing and global competition in women's sprinting is strengthening. Meanwhile, teams like Singapore, Malta, and Maldives continue to benefit from international exposure, making strides that will shape their future relay squads.